Hello, everybody. This is Greg, and I'm going to do my spoiler warning for my spoiler review of Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom. I'll tell you the entire story. It goes like this. In the beginning, you have a situation where they're pretty much trying to search for the bones of the Indominus Rex, and what they've done is that they actually have a submarine, and they're searching for it, and they find it, and they send it up to the surface just in time for the Mosasaur to come and eat them. So pretty much the Mosasaur eats them, the people who are in the submarine. Also, they were able to get you're trying to figure out who the company is that did that, and so what happens is, like, later you meet another company, and you have the situation where Claire is trying her best to preserve and save dinosaurs, the living ones, as opposed to the dead bones that we've had for all our lives, from her situation. And so they introduce a couple new characters there. They introduce a guy and a girl who's a paleo veterinarian. I can't remember the name at this time, but I'll look it up. I'll put it in the comments. Next thing, pretty much they have a thing where they tell Claire they need Claire to go back to the island and help turn on the locators for all the creatures so that they can be able to find them, and they need the help of Owen Grady, which is Chris Pratt, to find out how they're going to get Blue, Anyway, so what happens is, like, they have a scenario where they all go back to the island. They decided they're going to go there, and when they get there, they meet like a whole like militia, almost like a private government, military, set to capture the dinosaurs. Then you meet like a jerk who's one of the bosses, one of the leaders of it, who's a jerk, and he's stealing teeth from the dinosaurs that they captured. Next thing you find is that pretty much they want to capture Blue, and they realize that Blue is hard to get, and the only one who can get him is Owen. So Owen goes in, talks to Blue. Hey, Blue, come with us, kind of thing. Hey, Blue, come with us. We need to have a chat, kind of thing. And what happens is, like, they realize that what happened? They kidnap Blue, and then as they're shooting him with the tranquilizer darts, Blue gets mad, starts attacking the guy, and the guy shoots Blue with a live round. And so Blue gets shot, and Owen gets really upset, and he goes run after the guy, and the guy shoots a tranquilizer dart into Owen's chest. So Owen's like, ow, and we were all screaming in the audience, like, oh no, they're gonna kill Chris Pratt, and that's so sad for us because, we all like Chris Pratt. Anyway, so what happened after that was pretty much he's all tased, and they take Blue, and they go to their location, which is they're trying to get him to get all the dinosaurs off the island that they want for their collection, and so they do that, and kind of like dinosaur trafficking kind of thing, as opposed to dinosaur rescuing. Anyway, so what happened after that? Chris Pratt wakes up, Owen Grady wakes up, and then he's pretty much like all limp and stuff, and he's trying to get away, and he's almost get licked and stepped on by a Triceratops. A Triceratops is in the situation, and so what happens is, like, he's as he's there, the lava's kind of ensuing around him and about to like burn him, and he's able to dance his way over, I guess Space Jam dance his way over to out of safety into safety zone. Next thing that happens is, like, you have a scenario where he's able to get back and come running to find Claire, and I guess the other guy whose name is Franklin or something like that. He's pretty much there. He's stuck in this thing, and they're looking for a thing, and a baryonyx comes to try to eat them, and they escape just in time, and then they get up on top of the roof, and then the whole place is burning down because the volcano's erupting, and then so eventually they're trying to escape and run back, and there's a whole series of things. Eventually they end up in the water, and then they get like safety, and then after they get through the whole water business, they try and get back to the boats, and the boats are there to try and get people, all the dinosaurs off the island, and then they have to run as fast as they can to get to the island, off the island. And they finally get like a car, and they get a car, and they start driving it, and they drive it, and they get onto the boat, and then from there they travel, and they get to they're hiding on the boat, which is kind of weird. And there's a part where you have they have Blue, and Blue's been shot. They're trying to revive Blue, and they need to get blood from a T-Rex, and so they get blood from a T-Rex, and it's a whole scene there. Then you have a situation where the T-Rex wakes up and it almost try to eat Owen, and Owen escapes just in time, just in the nick of time. And then you have a scenario where it's like Owen escapes. Then after that, they give the blood transfusion, and Blue's gonna be okay. Take the bullet out, and then they bring Blue and all the dinosaurs to the location. And when they get to the place, they are hiding, and they escape. And then they take the guy Franklin, and he's all like scared and all that stuff. And then so they take him and they ask him if he could be like to help tackle the ship and all that stuff when it comes to port. And then so they hide and they sneak in, and they eventually get to the dinosaur part, and see all the dinosaurs are there, and they find out the dinosaurs are being auctioned off to the highest bidder. And this guy who was like supposed to be the help, who initially got clear to go in, was able to start making money and auction and stuff like that. And eventually they learn about the Indominus, and the little girl who was there, she's actually a clone, and they find out about she's a clone, and that she's like, she likes the dinosaurs and stuff like that. And pretty much what happens is like, you have a whole scenario where the dinosaurs are, just auctioning them off, and they finally get to the Indoraptor, and they say the Indoraptor's not for sale, but I just want to show you a taste of what we have. And they're like bidding for it, and they bid like $100 million for the Indoraptor. No, was it 20 million? I think 25 million. 25 million for the Indoraptor, and they're just like, wow, that's a lot of money, willing to bid for it. And so they're going back and forth, and eventually, they want to get it, and then so they're going to have it sold. And they're showing how intense and how it's like a monster that was made to pretty much kill on cue kind of thing, and it's horrible, a very scary creature. Then you have a scenario where it's like they're trying to get it out, and Owen gets out, and he's like, that monster can't leave this island, leave this room, because they're taking these dinosaurs and they're leaving with them. So now you have dinosaurs that are kind of like being taken and moved, and you have a whole scenario and faction of dinosaurs that are being moved all over the place, stolen and moved and auctioned, and all kind of things are going on, right? So Owen's like, this Indoraptor cannot leave, because Indoraptor is no joke. Anyway, so what happened? They get into a fight, and then Indoraptor breaks out, gets out of the cage, because the guy who wants teeth, he lets him out of the cage. Indoraptor opens the cage, and it's like, he's gonna eat everybody. So when he goes through that, he eats that guy, chops his arm off. It's really horrible. And then after that, he goes through a thing, gets everybody in there, starts eating people left and right, start eating all the elite. I skipped a scene, but anyway, so they captured Owen and Claire, and they have him in a cage, and they find out there's a sticky molach next door, which is kind of like a Pachycephalosaur, like a baby Pachycephalosaur, but longer horns and things. Anyway, so it comes running, and it bashes the wall, and it breaks them free, gets out of the cage, and then they get out, and then they let that thing free, and it's all bashing into people upstairs. And then in the midst of all that, the guy goes after the Indoraptor, and the Indoraptor he hits it with darts, and for some reason is able to overcome the darts. And then so when the guy goes in there to take the tooth of it, it can't get the tooth off, and the Indoraptor just eats the dude. Anyway, starts escaping, eating everybody, attacking, goes after a little girl, and on the roof, and Blue's on the roof, and they find the glass can break, and then they knock it down, and it finally falls on their horns, and it dies. And then after that, they're pretty much trying to figure out what to do. And the dinosaurs are dying, and it's up to Claire whether or not she's going to save them or let them die. And Owen's like, just let the dinosaurs die already. They're already dead, and we brought them back, and they should stay dead. And and it says, and they're saying, well, if we let them go, then they're creatures. And Bob and I are debating that, trying to figure out what to do. The little girl, she releases them into the wild, and all the dinosaurs break loose, really. And as they're breaking loose, getting out, they're out there wreaking havoc, and they eat the dude who was a bad dude, who spoke the truth. He kind of blames Claire. He blames Claire, and he blames Owen for teaching the dinosaurs how to listen to man. And he also blames Claire for making the Indominus Rex to begin with. So that's the truth right there. It's the truth right there. And because had they not made those things, they wouldn't have opened up for the world to try and get pieces of it. Anyway, so that's the scenario there. And so now the dinosaurs break loose. They eat that dude, the bad dude, and they escape into the world. So at this point, it's Jurassic World, and it really is their world, because now they're going to go and procreate and have kids and destroy mankind. And that's pretty much the whole story of how Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is. And so pretty much that's how it goes. And the little girl, she's a clone too. So because she's a clone, she identifies with a dinosaur. So maybe she can speak to dinosaurs, who knows? Maybe they put that in her. She's a dinosaur whisperer, So anyway, that's how the story goes. So my take on the entire story was this. I look at the story and I was like, well, it's a pretty interesting take. A lot of stuff to try and figure out a quick story that says you shouldn't do something. So back to the whole 9 yards length of everything. My whole thought on the whole story was this. I kind of think that they're kind of out of ideas in terms of dinosaur stories. And so because they're kind of running out of ideas, they start making these interesting hybrid dinosaur stories going on. And personally, the next thing they're going to start doing is making human dinosaur stories. I mean, they can clone a person, they can clone dinosaurs, but they're going to have to clone some kind of human dinosaur type thing, What are you doing? Alright, so, anyway, so that's the scenario. That's the story I've understood it as. I look at the story and I think, okay, you know what, this is pretty cool, but it's not as clean and pure and simple as Jurassic 1. They wanted to bring dinosaurs back from the dead, and they done did it. And they had them, the park closed down, people trying to escape with their lives, and they realized it's a bad decision. And then they go to try and save them, and then they realize that's a bad decision too. And then they try to go back because one person gets lost on the island, and they realize that's a bad decision, leave the island alone. Then finally, let's go ahead and make it into a functional theme park, and let's make a hybrid dinosaur. And that's a bad idea, and we decided not to do it again. So this one here, let's go ahead and poach the animals and try and sell them to the highest bidder. And they realize that's also a bad idea. But it kind of gets out of hand. And so we in the Fallen Kingdom, here in mankind's world, we have done this to animals, and we find the animals are actually smarter than us. And so it's not like stealing a chimp or a gorilla, it's more like stealing the smartest creature on the planet. And now you let it go into the wild. Now, not only that it's contained to an island, now they're free-falling and free-flying anywhere. So, doom on you is what it is about. So, my lesson I learned from this story, say no to GMO dinos, baby. Say no to GMOdinos.com. Thank you. That's all for now. Okay, while we're at it, might as well talk about lessons learned. One of the lessons I've learned about this, I was talking about before, I mentioned in my first preview, the non-spoiler one, it talked about how, when they totally kicked God out of the situation and they just started trying to make things their own way. It's like, when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they were kicked out, they had to go fend for themselves and figure out this whole world and determine for themselves right and wrong. And they had help from the demons, I guess, from devil, to start making their plans in their own ways. And their own ways were all about just their own service. They wanted to do their own thing. And not necessarily they had help, because the help that they had was to mess up. The devil helped them become like him, The scenario that most people are faced with, that most people are struggling with and are faced with, is that you have a scenario where, people, for some reason, are really afraid of God, and they think God is really boring, or God's going to do something that's going to make them really uncomfortable, and put them in a situation where they're going to be, either compromised or struggling. But you think about what the devil promises, and the devil doesn't promise anything better. And then some people say, well, I just want a third option to do my own thing. The Bible says there's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof is the way of death. So there's an aspect where we think we have doing the right way, but it's going to end death. Now, when Adam and Eve sinned against God, they brought death into this world. Death into the world. There was no such thing as death before Adam and Eve. So one of the things about these dinosaur movies is that they have an aspect of they talk about 65 million years ago and all that, and how dinosaurs died out because of some cataclysmic event and some meteorite and all that stuff. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe that at all. I believe, that God wiped them out in the flood, and that they got killed out in the flood. And I think some people didn't think that I have a couple friends of mine who talk that say that perhaps even the whole curse that the serpent had fell upon the dinosaurs. Maybe the dinosaurs were more influential than we thought. Maybe they were mystical creatures. Maybe they were the science project of the Nephilim. The Nephilim were giants, were fallen angels who inhabited, they were the offspring of fallen angels and humans, and they are called the Nephilim. They call it giants, and as the giants, what they do is that they're actually dangerous in terms of what they can do, because they are half human, half angel. And so there's some people say that some of the projects they were making were trying to make dinosaurs. Some people say that. I don't know. That's kind of a fun theory. I could put on a story somewhere. The other one is that you have a scenario where you are faced with that God made these creatures, and these creatures were to show His glory, and that the Leviathan and the Behemoth in the Bible, those are descripting dinosaurs. And as dinosaurs, they were creatures that God had made, and they were destroyed due to man's overpopulation and overfarming or poaching or whatever man does to creatures like lions and whales and fish and all that, and all the creatures that we have that are once big, like all the grizzly bears, there's none, and there's like mountain lions and things like that. Things that can hunt us and eat us, we kill off. Things that we can, eat and kill and eat, we kind of farm. So that, things are in between, we call them rodents. Not sure what to do with them, so we let them go. Things that are kind of cute, we put pictures on Instagram, and we like that. So one of the things, like, in terms of these stories, is that you have a scenario where you're faced with so many things that you're not sure exactly what the best thing to do. So you're not sure exactly what to do, what the best thing to do. So you have a scenario where, what they do is like they kill off these animals, and so that's what I think will happen in the Bible, that they kill off the animals, and instead of them having, they're having their own freedom and continuing to have freedom, what they do is that they wipe them out. My thought process is that, in the movie Jurassic World, that the dinosaurs escaping in the very end to go in their own like different places. You see them like one flying around the Eiffel Tower in like Las Vegas, and they pretty much meet another dinosaurs that escaped too. It's like one of those things where it's their world, their world, and they're gonna take over the whole place, and I was totally sad when the Brachio died in the lava, but then I remembered there was like 60 dinos in the water when like Owen and Claire and Franklin, they all fell inside the gyrosphere, and I was just like, hold up, dinosaurs can swim. So then I remember, because the people, they were able to later you saw some of the dinosaurs being rescued, like for example, the baryonyx and everything like that. And then I saw it where Claire and they were able to swim over to the calm side of the island that wasn't being eaten by the lava on that side. So I was like, you know what? Okay, that's one. Number two, I thought about how when there was an aspect of, they were driving that truck, and that truck that jumped the pier, and he landed on the boat. Didn't like a whole bunch of troopers and poachers realize that there was displacement going on when the truck jumps on their boat? It's like, whoa. And also the other thing too is like the fact that it made it and she had to shift gear to get on board. I was like, okay, and who's driving this truck? Didn't they think that? The other thing too I thought about was the whole thing was there's a part where Blue has a mouth guard on when she's being worked on to get the bullet out, and then another scene where the mouth guard is off, and she's like, "Wah!" wailing with their mouth open, just the same way like they were in a scenario with the baby T-Rex in the fallen in the Lost World, and then they're repairing it. Anyway, so then they took the bullet out, and then after that they put you go into the third scene. So first scene it was a mouth guard on. Second scene, mouth guard off. The third scene, the mouth guard is on again. And I was like, well, I guess it's probably for FaceTime, so she can do a shout out to all her people out there who are watching. And then the other thing too was I thought about was, I think that they kind of run out of ideas for dinosaur movies, and so I think that there's they kind of got a little sad. I thought about like Owen Grady's character, Chris Pratt's character, didn't seem too happy in this one. He seemed like just kind of sullen and really kind of overwhelmed, and just really, I don't know, something about him was just like downcasted, And then it was like everybody was like, kill dinosaurs off, and then finally get to the end of the movie, and then the clone little girl saves the dinosaurs. I'm like, maybe she's gonna be, like I said before, the dinosaur whisperer. Who knows? And then the other thing was, then they had in the comments, you saw in the teaser trailers, how they must have played that song, and there's like Claire and Owen are in the restaurant, and they're talking and talking. And it's like, oh, you love a dummy. Well, we didn't have that in the movie, and I was like, what? I was upset about that. Next thing, I think that dinosaurs should like run for president, run for Congress, and get a seat in the White House and all over the world, and be able to run the countries, because they seem to get more and more cognizant and wise and everything like that. So maybe they can do a better job than most politicians. The thing too is there was Easter eggs from every movie in this thing, and I'm just concerned as to why they didn't just move the islands down to Isla del Sorna, Site B. And that's, I know maybe they didn't make homage to it in the first Jurassic World movie, but then I'm just thinking that maybe they should just send them over there, because they went to Island Sorna 2 times more, and they even had Jeff Goldblum back, so he was there too. So anyway, they should have, they should have just taken dinosaurs over there, or taken dinosaurs from there, and that could have been it. So anyway, long story short, that's my extra add-on to the
spoiler trailer I had before. And this year, I just want to say that on the very last scene where the dinosaurs ate the bad guy, you know what happened? They bit him in half. They bit him like the same way they did in Jurassic Park, the Fall of the Lost World, when Eddie got bitten in half too. So the Carnal and the T-Rex poured the guy. I was thinking he shouldn't have ran into the car. He just ran for the woods or something. Better chance. Anyway, talk to you later. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Right back to my channel.